Hello, fifth graders. So today we are going to learn how to borrow. We've been working on adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So when we do this, we're going to add and subtract like normal. So add and subtract fractions, write them up and down, find common denominators, then go to town. So here you can see on number 1, anything I write, you should write. I've already set you up and down. So 8 is our common denominator for 4 and 8, so I'll go 4 times 2. If I multiply the bottom by 2, I'm going to multiply the top by 2, which gives me 8 and 2/8. This one is already out of 8, so that'll be 2 and 7/8. I always like to say, Houston, we have a problem. I cannot do 2 minus 7. However, when you look at this number, this is possible because I have 8 wholes, and I can certainly take 8 minus 2. We just need this top fraction to be bigger. So what we're going to do is borrow. I need to come over here, and I'm going to slash my big one. I'm going to shrink it, slash it, shrink it by 1 since I'm borrowing 1. And then I'm going to bring that whole over here. Now, the whole, notice the denominator is out of 8. So when I have a whole, when I'm borrowing a whole, because my denominator is out of 8, that's 8 out of 8. So I'm going to go ahead and add that 8 to the top. Because this is a whole I borrowed, I'm going to add that whole. Pause that. Oh. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I had to pause. So when I borrow that whole, I'm going to add the whole to the existing numerator, which means I'm going to go the 2 pieces that were there plus 8. So now I have 10/8. I haven't really changed this number. I just shifted the whole over. So now I'm going to subtract 10 minus 7, which is 3/8. And then I'm going to subtract my wholes. 7 minus 2, which is 5. 5 and 3/8 is your answer. And your secret letter is G. So make sure you record your secret letter because you're going to need that. All right, let's go ahead and look at number 2. So first step is I'm going to write them up and down. So on your paper, let's write these up and down. I'm going to immediately set up my equivalent fractions. Notice I am currently ignoring my whole numbers and I'm just focused on the fractions. I need a common denominator of 12 and 8. So when I list my multiples, you don't need to list your multiples on your paper unless you want to. But hopefully you realize 24 is your common denominator. So I'm going to put 24 on the bottom. Make sure you do write these. Again, I'm ignoring my whole numbers right now, and I'm just focused on my fractions. So let's see. 12 times what is 24? 12 times 2. If I multiply the bottom by 2, I'm going to multiply the top by 2, which gives me 10. 8 times what is 24? 8 times 3. I'm going to multiply 7 times 3, which gives me 21. Houston, we have a problem. I cannot subtract 10 minus 21. Cannot do it. However, this problem is possible because I've got 10 wholes minus 4. This is super possible, and you should be able to do this, but we need this numerator. Ava, can you let Izzy in? We need this numerator number to be bigger. So we need to come over here and borrow. So I'm going to slash it, shrink it. I'm going to bring the whole over here, and I'm going to add it to my existing numerator. Now, I can make a whole whatever I want it to be. Since my common denominator is 24 and I'm working with 24 pieces, one whole is going to be equal to 24 out of 24. So I am now just shifting this whole over and I'm adding it to my existing numerator. So 10 plus 24 is 34 over 24. Now I can go ahead and subtract 34 minus 21. And if you need to, you can write it out. So I've got 13 over 24. The denominator stays the same. And then, now when I slash this, I have 9 minus 4, which is 5. So circle on your paper 5 and 13 out of 24. Your next secret letter is R. All right, let's move to the next problem. If I'm going too fast, just go ahead and pause it. Now you're going to notice I'm going to start to encourage you to estimate so that your answer is kind of similar. So like if I just look at this, 4 1/8 is really close to 4 wholes. And 1 1/2 is usually when you have a half you round up. So it's really close to 2 wholes. So 4 minus 2, my answer should be around 2. So write a 2. Sorry, it's blurry. Write a 2 there where it says estimate. Maybe I'll turn my light on a little bit there. Okay, so when I add and subtract fractions, I write them up and down, which I've already done for you. I'm going to set up equivalent fractions. My denominators are 8 and 2. So I'm going to go ahead and just use 8 as my common denominator. This one's already out of 8, so it'll stay 1/8. Now when I set up my equivalent fractions, I'll say 2 times what is 8? 2 times 4. If I multiply the bottom by 4, I'm going to go ahead and multiply the top, which gives me 4/8. Houston, we have a problem. I cannot do 1 minus 4. Can't do it. However, this problem is possible because I have 4 wholes minus 1. I need this numerator to be bigger. So we're going to hop over to our whole number, slash it, shrink it. I'm going to bring that whole over here. And I'm going to add it to my existing numerator. Right now, the whole, our denominator is out of 8. So my whole is going to be 8 over 8. So when I add that whole, again, I just shifted it over. I'll go 1 plus 8 is 9 over 8. Now I can go ahead and easily subtract. 9 minus 4 is 5/8. And then if I look at my whole numbers, don't forget to subtract your whole numbers. 3 minus 1 is 2. So your answer is 2 5/8. Go ahead and circle that. Your secret letter is I. All right, and then our last problem. Okay. I am refilming this again because when I first did this, I wrote 13.5 on accident, and then I caught my mistake at the end, and I was like, oh gosh, I don't want to make them erase everything. So I started with 13 1/12 cup of punch. That's how much is in my punch. I poured 8 1/4 for friends. So think I have 13.5, and I pour out, which means I'm subtracting 8 1/4. Notice I wrote them up and down because when I add and subtract fractions, I'm going to write them up and down. If I want to figure out how much punch is left, I've got to work with same size pieces. I've got to find common denominators. So here I have, oh my gosh, I did it again, you guys. I wrote 13.5 instead of 13 1/12. My goodness. So to find my common denominator, 4, 8, 12, ding, ding, ding. Now, could you use 24? Sure. But then you're going to have to change both of them. But since this one's already out of 12, I can just keep it out of 12 and then just change the 8 1/4. 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to multiply the top by 3. So now you can do 1 minus 3. Oh, you can't do that. If you have 1 pencil, can you take 3 away? No, sir. However, this problem is possible because I have 13 wholes minus 8, which I can do. I just need to shift some of these numbers over to make this numerator bigger. So I'm going to slash it, shrink it. I'm going to bring that whole over here. My denominator's out of 12, so 1 whole is going to be equal to 12 out of 12. See how I'm just shifting that whole over here? I'm going to add it to my existing numerator, which is 1. So now my numerator is 13 because I've added a whole to the top. So I can go 13 minus 3 is 10 twelfths. And then 12 minus 8 is 4. Now technically I could have also done, like, if I did 24, that would be times 2. This would be times 2. That could work. You know, technically this could be simplified more. It would be like 5, 6, but this is the one that works. Your last secret letter that you can put in your box is T. Okay? Congrats on finishing this. You can raise your hand and point to your secret word for a prize. All right, nice work. Nobody outworks you. Remember, always focus on what you can control. You can control how hard you work. You are showing up every day, and you're bringing your best self every day. Nice job.